So I saw this. Let's see what it's all about. That's from GB News. Okay, if you weren't conspiring with the palace, then how did you come across that story? That none of your business, because as journalists, we protect our sources. Okay, let's see here. It's 2 minutes and 56 seconds. Let's
Look,
see.
let me cross to Joanna Jaju now. I believe, Joanna, you're still backing Harry and Meghan, despite them spewing this bile about their family. How can you justify what they've done, Joanna?
Well, so far I've listened to the audiobook. I don't see anything that besides, I think, Camilla, he threw under the bus, which is true. Everybody could see it. But the royal family, I think Harry is, I don't know, is still keeping his mouth shut. I think there's a lot of damaging things that could have been said, but he didn't say them.
I think that it's important for Harry to put his account out there for history's sake. You know, when we look at, for example, Diana and her interview and the involvement that she had when somebody was writing a book about her, when we look back at that now, because Diana has sadly passed away, we look at that with a lot more compassion. And now, obviously, we look at that in with a lot more context, and nobody is refuting a lot of the things that Diana had said. But because this is, you know, modern day, and we've got social media and everybody's so emotive about it, and also it's clickbait and it sells papers, people think that it's correct to treat Harry differently to how we treated Diana. But actually, all he's doing is putting his story out there after years and years and years of...
Why is this woman shaking her head? Isn't this Harry's story? Everybody else is, including her, writing stories about Harry, but Harry cannot write story about himself. That's his experience. My goodness, I think everybody should watch the Colbert Report, Late Show, all right? Because he really went into a great perspective and why he had to write the book. My goodness. And I think this young lady is correct. People need to get his side. Everybody else is writing nonsense left and right about him. Why can't he tell his truth? Let's see.
The press and
Joanna, I'm sorry, I have to say, Diana, a figure who I was very fond of and hugely respectful for, she didn't slag off every single blood relative, every single member of the royal family.
Well, that's just too bad. Harry is telling everybody what he experienced. You're not Harry. You don't know what he went through. But through pictures of nonsense, you guys intruding into his personal life, we got to see a glimpse of the misery that you guys put him through.
She had gripes largely about Charles, but this is a whole different kettle of fish. Do you understand that for Charles, this might be a red line now, the fact that Harry has come for the woman who he loves more than anyone?
That's the woman who's trashing him, sending him under the bus. So he had to call it out. And we see it. And they're coming after his wife, who've done absolutely nothing. They can never pinpoint what did Meghan do. So Harry had to tell his truth. The world needs to know. Oh my God, these people are blocking something in their brain. Okay.
Listen, I don't think it matters whether Harry slagged off one person from the royal family or 5 of them. The point is, they both had a story of their account of what was happening to them behind closed doors. And they both publicly had very public and famous interviews. And you can't look at what Diana did as any different to what Harry has done just because...
What about
Charles?
The most damaging charge that is made in relation to your marriage is that you were, because of your relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles, from the beginning, persistently unfaithful to your wife and thus caused the breakdown. What is your response to that persistent criticism?
That's the persistent criticism, is it? Well, and the trouble is, you see, that these things, again, as I was saying earlier, are so personal. It's difficult to know quite how to, to talk about these things in front of everybody. And obviously, I don't think many people would want to. But all I can say is that there's been so much speculation, feeding on every other kind of speculation, that it all becomes bigger and bigger. I mean, all I can say is that I mean, there is no truth in so much of this speculation. And Mrs. Barker-Bowles is a great friend of mine. I have a large number of friends. I'm terribly lucky to have so many friends who I think are wonderful and make the whole difference to my life, which would become intolerable otherwise.
Oh, Charles. Charles have done that too. Oh, Charles.
The way. What about all of the lies in this book?
What lies?
Because you say, oh, we should trust it, it's history, but there's so many lies.
What's the lie?
That's your opinion that they're lies, though, Dan. And how would you know whether they're
Thank
lies
you.
or not?
Well, I'll tell you how. I'll tell you how. Because he writes specifically about me and the Megxit story, and he has completely lied by saying that I was working with the palace, conspiring with the palace to...
Did you say yourself the things are coming from the palace?
Much of the negativity towards the couple is coming from within the royal family. The royal family and staff of the royal family are the ones that are very often leaking these stories to the press. The royal family and staff of the royal family are the ones that are very often leaking these stories to the press.
Do you not remember?
Didn't you say it yourself? Let me put it right now. This guy is ridiculous.
Break that story. And that is a point-blank lie. So I know there are lies in that book. Because there's one about me. That's how I know.
If you weren't conspiring with the palace, then how did you come across that story?
Thank you.
None of your business. None of your business, because as journalists, we protect our sources.
On my other channel, I did a video regarding journalism. It's a small little research I put together, and I think I spoke about sources. One of the things, I don't know about in the UK, but in the US, there's a clause within the journalism community, field, not community, within the journalism field, that they are not obligated to reveal their sources. So one of the things that I realized with the UK is that if they have the same sort of clause, part of their rules and regulation, they've abused this particular clause where they could make up as they wish and then they claim it's from a source. Okay, so this is the thing that Dan Wooten is saying.
None of your business, because as journalists, we protect our sources.
It's none of our business. It is our business to at least know if you are truthful. Depending on the circumstances, you know, you're supposed to do a thorough investigation on whatever you are reporting so people could make up their own mind. But these people are literally shaping your decision and then claim it's a source when majority of the time they make it up themselves. And he himself have said some of his information came from directly from the palace.
The royal family and staff of the royal family are the ones that are very often leaking these stories to the press.
He have said it. Alright, so go on my other channel. I did a video, I think I call it Journalism Within, I think I put a fishbowl and the inside. Okay, Journalism Within a Fishbowl World of Lies. So check it out. I'll put the link in the description. Alright, check it out.
Can you possibly say that it's a lie if you can't?
Because I will go to jail to protect a source, and Angela, I'm sure you would do the same for your sources. We don't have to reveal who our sources are, but it doesn't mean that
people, they're talking as if Harry was never on the other side. Harry wasn't there. He grew up in this institution. He know other things were. You yourself have said all the lies are coming from the palace.
The royal family and staff of the royal family are the ones that are very often leaking these stories to the press.
Okay, so what lies? This is ridiculous.
the source was the palace.
Oh my
But
God.
look,
Okay, let me read some of the comments. Okay, now, why did they end the clip there? It was just getting juicy. I know, there's a laugh, it was. Okay, the British media and the royal family are on top of the UK Parliament and all over the world. Status quo. There is again between the left and the right wings. Invisible contract is a large, yet the whole UK are focusing on destroying Harry and Meghan. Knuff is a master of Prince William is a bully. It's not okay. Okay, let's see this one.